monster brother?
I didn't at the beginning. Didn't now. Still
it's getting down to
maybe over winter break I'll try to get caught up.
Somebody's going home tonight.
Big Brother's like
Christmas or
Survivor.
Memphis?
It's like Survivor. You vote people off the island, but what you may not know is that Kevin Brooks, his house is like, oh, you vote people off the island kind of thing. He's got 42 kids,
35 people in it.
5 dogs, 10 cats.
It's a madhouse over there.
It is.
So voting from your house counts.
Yes, it does. I wish I was thinking about this last night because my wife had a cross country meet. Which, by the way, we on this thing on, Jeff? Oh, well, let me welcome.
The masses are logging in.
Anyway, Kevin, welcome, Ram fans. Kevin Brooks, along with the Czar/Minister of Culture, Manny Campos, and then a very special guest today.
Yeah.
Dr. Donald Topliff, the provost of Angelo State University.
We'll add applause post-production.
And real quick, before we go, can you explain to me, I know because I've been in the world of academia for a long time, what exactly the provost is?
Yeah. Well, if you look in dictionary.com down towards the bottom of the definitions, it's really not used much anymore, but one of the definitions is prison warden.
Really?
Yeah, it really is. And
it's poetic.
And I got to tell you, there's days I feel like a prison warden. But for the most part, it's I'm the chief academic officer and in charge of academic affairs. And provost actually means lieutenant.
Okay, awesome. So did it used to be a ranking in the military at some point in history?
It's a French derivation. So in the French Foreign Legion, the provost was the first lieutenant.
Wow, dadgum. See, those are.
We
generally don't use these many syllable words.
4 words is already stressing me out, man, at the end of this.
And then, see, we get the provost, and bam. See, that makes me feel good, though, because this is one thing, since we've last visited, I've been furthering my education.
Yeah, I remember the last visit, you were having a little bit of a challenge with some of the ology stuff.
Well, that's just normal, Dr. Campos. So, but no, I am.
He's a learned doctor.
I'm pretty much a doctor. Mm-hmm. Not quite there, but I have a certificate from Johns Hopkins. For contact tracing.
You're a contact tracer.
And so I've been adding that to my resume and like my signature.
You should.
And I don't know if I'm using the proper term.
To be fair, you haven't framed that.
Pretty much a doctor. Which is,
I actually think it's an alleged document because I haven't seen the document. I need to see proof.
I have my own letterhead.
The public demands that you bring this to the show.
Well, if I could pull it up, I'll bring it. I'll try to bring it and get
print it off and frame it for you. You will do something fancy.
So,
well, I'm proud of you for doing that. That's a very, very important position. All kidding aside,
right? Yeah, it is. It was. As a matter of fact, I did it. I was on the road. Well, we couldn't recruit, but luckily I have a son that's that age, so I could go watch him play, which allows us to go watch games. But I did it at a hotel room in Austin.
Nice.
I remember it took about like 6-8 hours.
Virtual.
Yeah. But I was focused, zoned in.
And we're all, and Dr. Topliff, like this transition so far, we're more than halfway through the semester. And I know as a faculty member, it's been... I think I probably was more anxious starting the semester, but I think as we made it halfway down, it's actually kind of gone okay. And I think students are getting it and doing the routines. We just got to remind them sometimes. But how would you say everything's going?
Oh, I couldn't be happier. I'm not happy about COVID, but
right.
I'm happy with the response that faculty and staff and students have had to this. Because, if you look at some of the others, University of North Carolina didn't make it 1 week before they had shut down.
Yeah. Right.
Notre Dame, high-powered Notre Dame didn't make it to the second week.
Yeah.
University of Alabama had 500 cases one day. Auburn had 400 cases one day. TCU, which a lot of people think of TCU, they are a Division I program, but in terms of size, they're the same size as Angelo State.
Right.
And they had 115 cases on one Monday. And so as of this morning, we were down in the 20s of active cases. Mm-hmm. And so, but it's because of our plan partially, but a plan's no good if people don't follow the plan. And our students and our faculty and staff have followed that plan. And the contact tracing is really one of the key parts of that. We've been able to stay on top of these places where we've had small outbreaks. We haven't had a major outbreak yet. We've had a couple of what you would call spikes.
Yeah.
But comparatively, they're very minor. But the contact tracing has allowed us to stay right on top of that and to get us through to the point where we are right now. We're 5.5 weeks from Thanksgiving, which doesn't seem possible that Thanksgiving's coming that quick. But, you know, the 24th of November is the last day.
I know, and we're doing great. You know, that's one thing, just from a baseball standpoint. Manny's been out there quite a bit, and we just finished, you know, the Fall World Series, which we'll wrap up here just in a little bit, and you know, and that was, you know, we had numerous team goals, but one of ours was sort of be able to finish the fall.
Yeah.
And we're not done with our fall, but we're done with the on-field playing part, and you know, we still got a few weeks to go and get to Thanksgiving, but you know, we made it through with 0, and which I think, as a coach, you know, you see all this going on, and my alma mater, Baylor, right now is shut down football wise, and so, you know, they've already canceled or rescheduled their game for this weekend, and it's been one of the other universities that's about our size that has seen some pretty big hits. But to be able to, you know, as a coach and as players, you know, this is important to them, and I think they're trying to do everything they can to make sure they get a chance to play their season.
Well, just the community support too, and the Ram Fam community that came out, masked up, all that stuff, and were there. You just showed kind of all of us, I think, how hungry people are for. I know that to use the term normalcy right now is kind of we run away from that maybe, but it felt a little normal, and I think what we're trying to do in athletics in general is helping, at least, and helping our student body, our population, our community, and kudos to all those folks.
Absolutely. Of course, last night was Midnight Madness for basketball, and
Waka Flocka Flame concert as well.
I didn't know who that is.
I had to Google a little bit.
I didn't know.
But yes, Midnight Madness was last night. Football's got a road game this weekend in Nacogdoches, back to the piney woods of East Texas, which is where I sound like I'm from, but I'm not.
Yeah, tell them East Texas.
Yeah, and their head coach actually tested positive.
I saw that.
And he's a friend of mine. He was at West Texas A&M when I was there. He and his father both, and so they're both good friends of mine. And so his dad is going to take over the head coaching duties for this weekend. And
I saw Don was going to step into that, and obviously he's been a very successful head coach at Eastern New Mexico and West Texas A&M.
When were you at West Texas?
Well, I was there for a long time.
So was Adam Foster there when you were there?
That was Foster's really,
because he was at West Texas, but I don't.
Yes, he played football and baseball.
He
there.
was a student there.
Yeah, he went to school there.
Okay, yeah. The name sounds familiar, but not.
Yeah, that was a long time ago. Foster's old.
Yeah, he is.
You know. Anyway, but well, like I say, we'll talk about. We did finish up the Fall World Series last week. The Ram It 19s, which again, it's a tough year to beat COVID. Anyway, they were victorious in the series over the Moon Pies, which
we never got full clearance.
We never got full clearance.
We tried to get permission.
I talked to Clarice at the factory and at the bakery, and she assured me we would have all. I was expecting a care package of Moon Pies,
but I find that a lot of the players didn't like Moon Pies, like the actual taste of them. There's a chocolate version of them.
There was a big. It was sort of.
It's very controversial. It's very controversial
over chocolate versus banana.
Yeah.
Do you have a favorite on the Moon Pie, or do you like Moon Pies?
Yeah. Well, you know, I mean, you know my history. I was a rodeo cowboy for quite some time. And, you know, our it was RC Cola and a moon pie. That's
Yeah.
that's what we lived on.
And that's when I was talking. I think you were in my office when I called, and I said I was sort of explaining to her. It's sort of weird. Some baseball coach from Texas calls.
She was kind of excited,
And
though.
she was very excited, and I said, the coaches choose their names of their teams, and I said, obviously, one of our coaches is a big fan of the moon pie, obviously because of not only does it taste great, but it's nutritious, it's
Banana
nutrition
flavoring.
value as well. And she just sort of chuckled when I said that. And anyway, but it was a fun thing. Like I say, the crowds were great. I really, was excited, and I think everybody had a good time. And that's the one thing, we have such a big stadium, it makes social distancing very possible, and you do it and have a good time and everybody be safe.
The fireworks were great.
Oh gosh,
Dr. Flores, the minister of fireworks.
maybe that should be a new title. Yeah, we should add that.
He's coming on in a couple weeks, I think, isn't he?
I think he is. Yes, we've got him booked.
Can we do a fireworks show on the show?
I was thinking when we were, because Dr. Topliff came on very short notice, which we very much appreciate. But I was
like
thinking,
10 o'clock last night.
yes.
I'll tell you
But
that story one day.
on the Carson show, on
Yeah.
Johnny Carson, it seemed like there's one dude that was always on, like Don Rickles would always be on, or somebody like that. That if somebody canceled, we need to find that person.
Well, you know
I
what
don't who
happened
that
to
is.
us in the program? We were doing so great ratings-wise, then we got Travis McCorkle from soccer.
Well,
so
ratings plummeted.
Yeah, ratings
that
plummeted. We lost viewership, and so we're really using this as
And
a
you're
time.
shocked?
Now,
You're shocked by that?
now we're trying to really rebuild our fan base.
Yes. So, well, one thing you mentioned earlier, which I think is just so fascinating, and the great thing about Angelo State, there are just so many people that you meet that have these amazing backgrounds, and so you're one of those. And I'm lucky enough, I've gotten to go to your office, see your saddle. They're the fans again. Once again, I tell you, it's
like the
it's
Today
like
Show.
being on the Today Show.
People are in
It really
swarms.
is.
They're trying to get in.
I know we do need the security
We're
back.
Regis and Kelly, man.
Yes, but so will you explain a little bit of your background in you believe K-State is, and you were on the rodeo team there.
I was captain of the rodeo team at K-State.
And anyway, so how long did you pursue that? I mean, and then all your injuries. I always like hearing about all the injuries.
Yeah.
I maybe that's not. I hope it's not a HIPAA violation.
No, it's not a HIPAA violation.
The phone lines are
So I
exploding.
actually grew up rodeoing. Started, I guess I attended my first, as a contestant, I was probably 6. The calf riding
Right.
back then, and so it progressed, and I just, I fell in love with it. And so when I was about 14, that's when my bull riding career ended. Fortunately for me,
Yeah.
Yes.
because there's 2 kinds of bull riders: those that have been seriously injured and those that will be seriously injured.
Wow.
Yes.
Yeah.
The way you become a bull rider, you're born with a mouthful of marbles, and every time you get on a bull, you spit out a marble, and when you've lost all your marbles, you're a bull rider. So, fortunately, I quit that. But anyway, I went to community college on a rodeo scholarship, and then went to K-State from there, and had a rodeo scholarship at Kansas State as well. I rodeoed professionally for, I don't know. Of course, I was actually doing it professionally when I was in college. So,
Right.
but when I was 27 or 28, I think, I got into graduate school at Texas A&M, and I decided that having $500 in the bank and 96,000 miles on my pickup was enough, so I quit.
So, all right. So you start off. What event did you go to? So my cousin, and he always told me like I'm the smart one because he was a team roper, and so he's like,
Did he have all of his fingers?
He did have all his fingers, but the one most fascinating thing. So his horse, and this was the greatest horse. I am not. That's not. I'm. So if I sound ignorant here, forgive me, but his horse was like a dog, which I guess horses generally aren't like dogs. as far as like it would follow him through. I mean, he could go through mazes and it would follow him, and he'd win bets and all that because people were like, no way that horse would do that. But his horse he bought in an auction. It was a repossessed horse. And so hence the horse was named Repo. And so Repo, anyway, he was really good, a long time ago. But like I say, so you got off the bulls at 14.
Yeah.
And then what events?
I worked all the events at some point or another, but the two that I did the most was riding saddle broncs and steer wrestling, which are kind of an odd combination. Usually saddle bronc riders aren't steer wrestlers,
right.
and most steer wrestlers are quite a bit bigger than me. They look more like today. They all look like linebackers.
Yeah.
So I couldn't outmuscle them, but I could outquick them. So that was the thing.
How different is it riding a bull and a horse? And to me, Dr. Topliff, you said, well, the bull riding's dangerous. To me, getting on a horse trying to throw you off doesn't seem like it's a lot safer. That's just me.
You're not going to win the fight, I don't think.
No. Yeah. Well, the thing, though, about you get off of a horse, they don't come and hunt you.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's actually a good way.
That's probably the main difference is that, in fact, that's why I quit bull riding, is because I had one get me down and work on me pretty good. And so fortunately I wasn't hurt terribly bad. Well, I was really fortunate throughout my career. I had some injuries, but nothing major, nothing that required surgery.
Right.
That's what you consider majors, when it requires surgery.
I gotcha.
Yeah.
Well, that's one of my, and I assume 8 seconds is that was back when I was high school, college, out at Luke Perry, rest in peace, and Blaine Frost.
They're both gone.
They're both gone. But now, how you've seen that movie, I assume?
Oh yes,
many times. How realistic is it? A good portrayal? Is it accurate? Because Hollywood, sometimes
a little too Hollywood.
But it's, as an outsider, I was like, okay, that looks very real to me. Is it?
It
was
real.
Real?
It was pretty accurate.
Yeah,
it was pretty accurate. It's just part and parcel of the game.
Right.
It just is.
Yeah.
I'm fascinated. I went to Big Bend in September, and I'd never been on a horse, so we did a little horse tour.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Well, and it was more funny than anything, but I was fascinated by the horse trainers, the people that devote pretty much their lives working with these, I think, beautiful creatures. And I always wondered, because I felt we feel with dogs that they know your emotions, they know if you're mad or scared or timid. Would you say that horses are the same way?
Oh, absolutely the same way. I have been a horse trainer too, on top of everything else. I think the one thing I didn't really train for was catching giraffes in Mexico, but that's a whole nother story.
Yeah.
How do you? Okay, well, I got.
They're tall though. They're tall. You just tackle them at the legs.
How do you catch you don't lasso them,
No.
do you? Okay. No. What is the process in which you catch a giraffe?
Well, they're darted out of a helicopter. And so a tranquilizer that's very potent. A lot of people don't know that giraffe skin is extremely thick,
right?
Very, very tough, and so it takes a pretty good dose to get one down.
Do you have to shoot them in a particular part of their body in order for the tranquilizer to work?
Well, you try to get them in the hip.
Okay,
that's where you try to get them, and then once they're down, then there's a process to get enough ropes on them to where you can control them. 2 on their head, 2 around their middle, and a big strap behind them to get them to go forward. And then getting them loaded into a trailer out in the middle.
So this is to relocate them? Is it?
To relocate them.
Because they don't just follow you, I guess.
No.
You can't take a leash and just walk them around.
Well, I go back there tomorrow to beautiful Franklin, Texas.
Yeah.
Have you ever been to Franklin, Texas? First of all,
Been through Franklin, yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Have you been to the safari or the zoo?
No,
In
have
Franklin.
not.
I bet you did. Did you even know there was one
No,
there?
I did not know that.
It is.
I learned something today.
It is, and I've been to Franklin because there's a huge baseball complex there, which you wouldn't think would be in Franklin, Texas, but a lot of events there, and so we go to recruiting there a lot. And so finally this summer I had time to go to the safari while I was there, and the giraffes. Anyway, they have giraffes. They have everything. They didn't have lions or tigers or bears, but they had. Anyway, it was amazing. It was great. $30 or whatever it cost me to get in. Very worthwhile. You could feed their tongues.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, they're black. They're black tongues. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
And then, but you could feed them, lettuce, but they would just take it right from you.
So most of the giraffes you see in zoos they're fairly tame, and then they can. Now they're not going to get like a dog, but they do get tame. But the ones that we were capturing were definitely not tame.
Wow, I know.
Wow.
Well, in that,
Are they fast?
Much faster than you would think. They
got
look like they're in slow motion because their legs don't move real fast, but they
big
move.
strides,
Big strides.
with long legs. Yeah, no, but like seeing a giraffe up close, because I think maybe in my childhood I'd been to a zoo and maybe seen a
Abilene Zoo's
giraffe,
got-
but I don't remember it very well but I was just amazed at these creatures and just how tall they are, and they had a little baby one, but it's still huge, but they're huge.
Yeah.
They're huge animals.
They are.
So I don't know. Anyway, well, like I said, we're a little over halfway through the semester. What do we have on tap? I know as far as graduation goes and all that for the fall.
So for spring and summer, we did only a virtual graduation. Students sent their pictures in, and we recorded a mock graduation and showed their pictures and that type of thing. So when President Hawkins came on board, he said we need to think about how we could do some sort of a live face-to-face graduation. And so we've been working through that. We've got a plan now. We actually are allowing students the opportunity to walk across the stage in the Janelle Center. We're not allowing any family members in. So it'll just be the students, the president and I, and a couple of other. Dr. Flores is going to be there, and Mr. Joe Munoz, who is our general counsel. And so they'll walk across the stage and get their diploma cover from President Hawkins. Yeah, we'll have a professional photographer, but it's optional. Students don't have to do that. The ones that choose to do that, then we'll film them, and then the ones that choose to do it virtually, we'll take their pictures and we'll stitch that all together into one production.
Gotcha.
And it will be shown on December the 5th, which is Saturday. I believe it's going to start at 10 o'clock in the morning on YouTube.
Okay, awesome.
So it'll be a YouTube presentation like we did with the virtual graduation. So we'll have some students that are walking across the stage, so it'll look live, and then some of them will be virtual. So
on the students that choose, will that be broadcast live or will that be later on?
no,
YouTube?
it'll be filmed, and then we'll stitch the two together in one presentation.
Okay, gotcha. In the editing room, we'll get in there.
Yeah,
I remember, when I was a student back in a long time ago, I remember when I walked, I didn't want to walk, and then I realized I had like 50 angry family members. And so I love that y'all are doing that, because it really is such a great, it may not be in person per se, but it is, I think, something great for the families to see that.
It's a step in the direction that we want to go,
With what
for
we
sure.
can do, yeah.
With what we can do, and we would love for family members to be there. I know how important that is to family, but given our situation right now, it's just not a smart thing to do to bring people from all over the country to San Angelo. It wouldn't be right for the city to be introducing that risk to the city, and certainly not something that we want introduced to the campus as well.
I think that'll be great. real quick before Jeff's giving us the rapid. That's one thing. I know all the TV production hand signals and all that. But what's the spring sort of looking like right now? I know we're actually really still a long way from there, but are there any changes? Things going to be sort of similar to the fall? What are we looking at for spring?
So a lot of it's going to be similar in terms of we've reduced the capacity of classrooms to about 50%. And so that is going to continue. We're still going to have some classes that are online and face-to-face. Some of them are going to be online only. So very similar in that regard. Probably the one change that is the biggest is we're going to start a week later than what we had originally scheduled. So we won't start till January 25th. And we've done away with spring break, which I know is that's almost heresy to say that, but it just didn't make sense to scatter students to the four winds and then bring them back for the last half of the spring semester.
Yeah.
Right.
And so we just made the decision early on that spring break, we wouldn't have a spring break.
Right.
And there's many universities across the country now that are following suit. So
and that's the thing. Being baseball, I don't know what spring break is and never have. So,
well, in the fall, I love that as 7 years now or whatever I've been teaching. But when they leave for Thanksgiving and come back for
2 weeks.
reviewing and it's really tough to get them back engaged.
Is.
So I mean, in a way, that's to me been a silver lining, and I kind of feel the same about spring break.
Well, like I say, from a baseball perspective, we love it. We get an extra week of practice without school, and then we're here during spring break.
Yeah.
So it's the same thing. So kudos. Thank you as a baseball coach. But, all right, so Dr. Topliff, as you know, you've been on the show before. So the 4 words, you familiar? And I'm sure you have the at-home version that I'm sure you and the family get out maybe sometimes and play.
Yeah.
I'll give you 2 words. Manny will give you 2 words.
Oh, you're trying to confuse me.
You put them
That's
in a
easily
sentence.
done, by the
Which
way.
really messes up things because our brains are so different anyway.
So put them in a sentence.
Okay.
Try to no ands or us, no pluralization, and then try to get all 4 words in a sentence. Now, last week I have not played in a while, and I played, and I'll be honest, I was very disappointed in my performance. I think I made a C.
He made a C, and I was being generous.
C, which that gets me by, but I left out one of the words. I had a really good sentence, but only 75%.
I don't think I can grade him though. I think I'm fear for my job and stuff. I think you have to grade him.
Well, I thought, and I'm going to try it. Now, that's the thing. I was going to ask you, what degree of difficulty would you like? Would you like the most severe, just a normal average, or
just
super
lay it on
easy?
me. Lay it on
Okay,
me.
all right. Well,
Do you want to start? Or you
turn
want
the
me to
water
start?
on, full blast. Okay. All right, I'll give you 2 words. Baseball cap.
1 word? Is that 1 word or 2 words?
You know what? You're right. Let's not do that.
He's trying
Let me
to
retract that. Can we? Yeah,
We can
let's
retract
do,
it.
Let's do baseball and pine cone.
Oh, pine cones. East
Baseball,
Texas.
pine
I like that.
Not pine cones. Pine cone.
Sorry.
No
Baseball,
plural. Yeah,
pine
no
cone.
pluralization.
We're going to go with my favorite show, Blacklist, because I see that over there. 1 word. And sell. So your 4 words are sell, blacklist,
Sell, S-E-L-L.
Like a- oh, yeah.
S-E. Well, see, right there. You can go any direction you want to go with it. You can go S cell or you can go C cell. What? So you could be like a jail cell.
Wow, this is tough.
Well, or
I'm
cell.
glad I'm not playing.
See, all right. See, now that I've confused you, Dr. Topliff.
Let's tell him like jail cell, like a jail cell.
But he could use, I'm going to go sell whatever.
Okay. Well, let's give him the option then.
It's
It's his. Okay.
There's
a lot on the line. There's a lot on the line.
Baseball, pine cone,
Cone,
blacklist, and sell.
Yes, sir.
Boy,
Millions of
it
viewers.
took me a little bit of.
You got time.
I got time?
Yes.
Okay.
Got a little time to think.
All right.
The theme, Jeff.
It
you
is
get
time.
The theme
I,
music.
I would sell the baseball, but the pine cone needs to be blacklisted.
Oh,
So he-
so good, Dr. Topliff.
But,
Yeah, he
but
did
he
it.
had
Yeah, he did it.
But
Yeah, he did.
but he didn't throw in a lot of uhs and ums and
No,
stuff.
he said it with his chest. Very confident. I'm gonna go B+.
B minus. I want to be seen as taking.
I give myself a C. 'Cause ED is
Yeah, but you got the word. You just ED'd it, so that's just a letter grade deduction.
Hey, but it was good. Yeah,
But you said it.
We should probably give him more since our ratings are probably out the roof.
Oh,
We
yeah.
basically have a rock star on the show. I mean,
Well, one.
I just hope I don't tank your ratings.
Hey, believe me, McCorkle's already done
yeah,
that, so we're
it's all
good.
up from that.
So thank you so much for joining us. It was great. It's always good hearing, and things are going great, and we appreciate you and everybody at ASU, all y'all
Absolutely.
do for us. I know this has been a long 8-9 months for y'all and all the hard work you've done, and we appreciate it.
300 plus meetings.
Yeah,
Seriously,
and still going,
it's still going.
still going.
And you made time for us,
Yeah.
so
which is great. Thank
It
you
is.
so much.
So-
thank you so
Well,
much.
I appreciate being on here, and I'm so proud of Ram baseball. I tell you, I cried in the spring. We were, I'm sure you did too.
Yeah,
but,
it was a tough time.
I felt so bad for the kids.
It is.
And
Well, we're ready to go. They're all back.
Their heads are up.
And
Their
they,
heads are
They want to go get what we couldn't go get last
Yeah.
year. So
Yeah.
hopefully we get that opportunity.
all right.
All right.
Look forward to it.
Thanks, Dr. Topliff. Ram fans, thanks for joining us. Like I say, Fall World Series is over. It's into the weight room and individual, so that we come back big and strong for the spring. We'll see you next week on Thursday. Have a great week. Go Rams.
All right.